It was a gray Monday morning in late autumn when Mrs. Carter arrived at school earlier than usual. The hallways were quiet, the hum of fluorescent lights echoing softly against the tiled floors. She loved that stillness before the world woke up, before her classroom filled with the chatter of fifth graders and the shuffle of backpacks. Teaching had always been her calling, or at least it used to be. Somewhere along the years, between endless tests, meetings, and the quiet ache of loneliness that followed her husband's passing, she had forgotten why she'd chosen it. The light she once carried had dimmed. She told herself she still believed in goodness, in kindness, in hope, but faith? That had drifted away long ago, lost somewhere between unanswered prayers and the weight of time. Welcome, dear friend. This is Faith Light Stories, where every story reminds us that God never leaves us. Please like, share, and subscribe. That morning, she walked between the rows of desks, setting out new papers for the week's lessons. As she reached the last desk by the window, she noticed something wedged inside a small object, half hidden in shadow. She tugged gently and pulled out a worn, leather-bound book. Its cover was faded, the corners bent, and the edges of the pages were soft from years of handling. For a moment, she thought it was just another forgotten notebook, but when she turned it over and saw the gold-embossed words, her breath caught. Holy Bible. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside the cover, written in faded blue ink, were the words, "Property of Emily Grace." She smiled faintly. Emily Grace, her own name. Her maiden name. The handwriting was hers. The Bible was hers. The breath she had been holding escaped in a quiet gasp. How could this be? She hadn't seen it in over 30 years. Suddenly the classroom around her faded, replaced by memories of a small country church and a little girl with braided hair sitting beside her mother on Sunday mornings. She could almost hear her mother's voice again, reading softly from the same Bible. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. She had believed those words, once believed them with all her heart. That little Bible had been her treasure, her comfort when her father left, her hope when nights felt too long. She had carried it everywhere until one day, in high school, embarrassed by the teasing of others, she hid it away and stopped bringing it with her. Later, during college, she lost it, completely left behind in a dorm room, she thought. But now here it was, in the desk of one of her students, like a quiet whisper from heaven. I never left you. She sat down slowly at the desk, the morning light spilling across the pages. Inside the Bible, she found old notes, scribbles in the margins, tiny stars she had drawn beside verses she once loved. In the back, tucked between two pages, there was a folded piece of paper yellowed with time. She opened it carefully. In her mother's delicate handwriting, it read, "For Emily, never forget, you are loved beyond measure." Her eyes filled with tears. She remembered the night her mother had written that note. She had been 12, afraid of the dark after hearing her parents argue. Her mother had prayed with her and slipped the note into her Bible saying, "When you forget, just read this again." Mrs. Carter pressed the paper to her chest, feeling a warmth she hadn't known in years. When the bell rang, she quickly tucked the Bible into her drawer. The children filed in with the usual energy, laughter bouncing off the walls. She smiled and began her lesson, though her mind kept drifting back to that discovery. Later that day, during recess, she asked her students whose desk it had been last year. A small boy named Luke raised his hand. "That was mine," he said shyly. "I found that Bible in the lost and found. I liked the cover, so I kept it there." She nodded, her heart stirring. "Did you ever read it, Luke?" He smiled. "Sometimes. My grandma reads the same book at home. She says it helps her talk to God." Mrs. Carter felt her throat tighten. "Does it?" she asked softly. He nodded. "She says he listens even when we don't hear him back." That night, long after the school had emptied, she sat alone in her classroom, the Bible open before her. The last light of day filtered through the blinds, bathing the room in a gentle gold. She read passages she hadn't touched in decades, the words reaching into the hollow spaces of her heart. "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." She whispered them aloud, her voice breaking. "I am so tired, Lord. I forgot how to find you." The air felt different, so still, it was as if the whole world was listening. And in that silence, she felt something stir deep within her soul. Over the next days, she began carrying the Bible with her again. At first, it was just curiosity. She'd read a verse before class, another during lunch. But soon, it became habit, comfort, prayer. Some mornings she arrived early just to sit by the window with her coffee and let the sunlight spill across the pages. The more she read, the more she recognized the quiet thread that had never truly broken, the one that had always tethered her to grace. That she started noticing small things she'd once overlooked, the way that children laughed without worry, the kindness in a colleague's simple good morning, the beauty in the sound of rain against the windows during lessons. Faith didn't come rushing back all at once. It returned softly, like dawn spreading across a sleeping world. One Friday afternoon, a student lingered after class. It was Luke again. "Mrs. Carter," he said, "can I tell you something? My grandma says sometimes God hides things so we can find them when we need them most." She smiled, the tears rising again. "I think you're right, Luke," she said. "He does that." She handed him the Bible. "You keep it for now. Maybe one day, when you need to find him, you'll open it again." He took it carefully, as if holding something sacred, and smiled before running out the door. That weekend, she visited the small church she hadn't entered since her mother's funeral. It looked the same, the wooden pews, the old piano, the faint smell of candle wax and pine. As the choir sang softly, she bowed her head and wept. Not from sadness, but from release. For the first time in years, she prayed not for answers, but for presence. She whispered, "Thank you for finding me again." From that day forward, Mrs. Carter carried her faith like a quiet flame. She began a new habit with her students, a small note of encouragement left on their desks each week. Words like, "You are loved, you are seen, you are not alone." Sometimes, she'd find one of her own notes taped back onto her desk, written in a child's handwriting. "Thank you, Mrs. C." Months later, as the year ended, she looked around her classroom and saw something she hadn't seen in a long time: light. Not just from the sun through the windows, but from the joy in her students' faces, from the peace in her own heart. She realized then that faith doesn't always come with thunder or miracles. Sometimes it arrives quietly, like an old Bible rediscovered in a dusty desk, waiting for the right moment to be found. That night, as she closed her classroom for the last time before summer, she whispered one last prayer. "Lord, thank you for sending it back to me. I know now you were never gone." It was me who stopped looking. The light outside faded to twilight, and she smiled, feeling that gentle warmth again, the same warmth her mother's voice once carried, the same light that had never truly left, because grace doesn't shout, it waits. And when you finally open the door, it's still there, patient as ever, ready to begin again. Thank you for watching Faith Light Stories. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe so that someone who's lost their way might also find their light again, just as she did.